I actually, if you can believe it, got mail. Who did I get mail from, you ask? Nancy Pelosi. Can you believe it? Here, check it out. Check it out. See it? Nancy Pelosi sent me some mail, and I wanted to read it to you. Dear friend. So I know this is a form letter, obviously. But like sometimes they at least put, like they populate the name, so at least it's your name there, but not for me. Not on this letter from Nancy Pelosi, but here it goes. Dear friend, someone had to do it. Do what, Nancy? Rally for everyone having health care during the pandemic? Rallying for an emergency UBI to take care of people during a pandemic? Demand a Green New Deal across the country right now because your state, California, is on fire? Who had to do what? What did they have to do? Let's read on. Someone had to stand up to the bully in the White House and say, no, you cannot abuse your power. You cannot abandon our allies, and you cannot do Vladimir Putin's bidding from the Oval Office. This is real. This is her real letter. And someone had to stand up for the Constitution, the rule of law, our national security, and the American people. That someone didn't have to be me, but as you can see, when President Trump hurled insults and personal attacks at me, I wasn't about to back down. This is her letter. This is her letter. The state of California is on fire. Her state is on fire. It is on fire right now. There is an eviction crisis happening around the country. People are waiting in line for food, a la the Great Depression. And she's echoing all these sentiments that mean nothing. Here. Someone had to stand up for the Constitution, the rule of law, our national security, and the American people. I mean, those all sound like nice, but it doesn't mean anything. His behavior was childish, talking about Trump, and unbecoming of the president of the United States. But it didn't bother me personally. I've got thick skin. So we're 4 paragraphs in. So far, her message is Trump's bad, which anybody who has a pulse can see that. Trump's terrible. We all know that. And he's mean to her, apparently. Trump's mean to her. But here's what does bother me. The GOP's action. Trump and the Republicans are pursuing an extreme agenda every day. Trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act, gut environmental protections, block gun safety measures, curtail a woman's fundamental right to choose, and slash investments in the middle class. Okay, that's all true. I refuse to hand our House majority over to the bullies and let Republicans get away with it. And now she asked for money. She asked for money for the DCCC. Now, it goes on to say that, it's important that we increase the Democratic majority. That's also in her letter. Our House Democratic majority is the only barrier keeping Trump and his yes men from trampling all over the Constitution and turning the power of the federal government into a wholly owned subsidiary of the Republican Party and its special interest donors. Speaking of special interest donors, Nancy Pelosi, we cannot back down from this fight. Looking to 2021, our House Democratic majority will be the key link that makes it possible for a Democratic president to restore the rule of law and pursue, this is good, and pursue a progressive agenda. This is from Nancy Pelosi, including, here's the fun word, including expanding access to healthcare. We're not going to have universal healthcare. We're not going to have a system that makes sure everyone's covered, but we're going to expand access. Just like I have access to a mansion. There's a mansion, I can go look at it. I have access to it. Can I afford it? No. But I have access to it. I can go to the Hollywood Hills, look at these mansions, go, oh man, I got it. Can I have access to that? Sure you can. Do you have the down payment? No? Well. But they're going to expand access to healthcare. Here we go. Addressing climate change. We're going to address it. We're going to address it. That's the duopoly for you, folks. Republicans, we're not going to do anything about climate change. Democrats, we're going to address it in like 2050. Here's some other bold plans that she has. Reforming immigration laws. That's exactly why Republicans and their ultra-rich dark money backers are breaking all spending records in their desperate attempts to take back the House. Please join us. And then she asked for money for the DCCC. This is the opposition. In the first 4 paragraphs, pretty much 5 paragraphs. Took 5 paragraphs before she even mentions policy. And then what's the first thing she mentions? The Affordable Care Act. Mitt Romney's healthcare plan. Republicans are trying to gut a right-wing healthcare plan. And they're trying to make it even worse. I mean, Trump's ideas were even worse. But, man, isn't that telling? We're going to address climate change. We're going to expand access to healthcare. How could anyone read this letter and think this is an institution that really wants to win? This is a leader. It's... The Onion couldn't write this stuff. We're going to expand access to healthcare, addressing climate change. Not, hey, we're getting universal healthcare. We're getting a Green New Deal. We're gonna act boldly because there is nothing pragmatic about an incremental solution to a catastrophic problem. Nope, just we're gonna talk about this stuff. You know, I live in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles area, and when you live in the Los Angeles area, you learn real quickly that there are 2 types of people that you will rub elbows with. One type is talkers, and one type is doers. And it is exactly what it sounds like. And I know this is not an idea that I invented, far from it. But, you know, the doers are the people where you go, hey, this is what I want to do. Do you want to do this? Yeah, I want to do this. Let's start doing it. And you figure out how to get something done, whether that something is a cartoon or a script or a short film or a freaking YouTube show from a living room, whatever it is. You say, this is what we're going to do. This is what needs to happen. This is how we're going to get there. And you get it done. Then there's other people that they just have lunch meetings forever. And they go, yeah, let's talk about this. And the longer you spend in the Los Angeles, and I know this is true in any industry, but I'm just using show business as my example, because it's just what I have exposure to. But, you know, real quick, you learn the difference. Real quick, whenever it's just like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is how we get there. Let's have another meeting. That person, I never bother reaching out to them again. That person who's like, yeah, let's talk about this more. We just talked about it. Let's do something now. If you're not interested in doing something, we're wasting our time. You're wasting my time. I'm wasting yours. So I'm not saying you don't have follow-up meetings. That's not what I'm implying. But you know what I mean? Like when it's like, okay, we laid out what needs to happen. Let's do it. And the person goes, oh, let's have another meeting and get hammered. Okay. I'll talk to you later. You're someone that I'd like to hang out with when I'm relaxing, but you're not somebody who I want to collaborate with. The Democratic Party, they're talkers. They're the talkers. They're the, hey, we got to do something about climate change. Let's talk about this. Okay, we talked about it. Here's what we need to do. Let's have another meeting. Okay, you show up to the other meeting. Let's have a task force. Okay, let's have a focus group. And folks, this is by design. Because doers are not welcome. Doers are not welcome in our political structure. Unless you're going to be doing for Wall Street, then you're fine. Then you're welcome in either party. You're welcome with the Republicans. You're welcome with the Democrats. But if you want to do for the people, you are not welcome in our political structure. And it's a systemic problem that can only be ended by ending the duopoly. And I'm very curious how Nancy Pelosi got my address. In closing, I'm not sure how that happened, but what an inspiring letter, right? Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and